Hey there, folks. Welcome to the Nashville Lift Zone. I'm your host, DJ Rockwell. Maybe one of these days I'll explain why I call myself DJ Rockwell. There is a reason. But that's not the video we're going to be having here today. So, what we're going to talk about here today is what do you do when you get into an accident? And, hopefully this doesn't happen to you, but, eventually, you do this Lyft or Uber thing or ride sharing long enough, you're gonna get into some sort of accident or fender bender or something. So here's what happened. Last night it was about a little after 11 o'clock, and I picked two girls up at a bar in downtown Nashville and drove them back to their house and pulled into their driveway, which the driveway was wide enough for two cars, and basically the right lane of the driveway had their cars in it, and so I'm pulling up in the left side of the driveway. So I pull all the way up. It was a real, it was a good ride up to that point. The girls were real friendly. We were real talkative. We talked about all kinds of things on the way there. But anyway, we get to their house. I'm in the driveway. We say our goodbyes, whatnot. Have a nice day. Have a nice night. And they get out of the car and they clear the car. And I always wait, until they're about 5-10 feet away from the car before I start moving. Whether I'm in the driveway or on the street or whatever. So they're away from the car. That's when I ended the ride. And then I put it in reverse and started to back out. I had a slightly bad angle when I was backing out, and my rear passenger side corner panel in the back accidentally scraped her car, which was a Nissan SUV. I can't remember what the model was, but whatever Nissan's SUV was. I scratched, started scraping it. I heard the crunch. I immediately, hit the brakes, and then pulled, put it in drive and pulled away from the car, and, turn the engine off, get out, look at it, oh God, I'm so sorry. You must think I'm the worst driver ever. I'm so sorry. We just had a 3-mile-an-hour accident in a driveway of all places. But it was mainly cosmetic damage. Obviously nobody was hurt. They weren't in the car that I backed into there. But yeah, basically my back corner panel here scraped her driver's side rear door, and just left some scratches on it. And where the body kind of curves under the wheel hub, where the rear wheel is. There was a little bit of where the paint got chipped off, and exposed, and a slight dent on there. But that was really the worst of it. I really got the worst end of it, which, still, it's not really that bad. It's not something I'm even going to bother to get fixed. But there's just there's like one or two scrapes on that panel back here, and there's one dent which has a kind of a one cut. It's a real small dent. It's hardly noticeable, but it kind of has a cut like you took a knife and kind of just scraped a hole basically with a knife. That's kind of what it looks like. Obviously I'm not going anywhere because I just ran into her car, and unfortunately I'd already ended the ride, so Lyft's insurance is no longer covering us. But not to worry, I have ride sharing specific insurance for Lyft and Uber through the Erie, E-R-I-E insurance company. And they offer full rideshare insurance coverage here in Tennessee. Some states they don't, but if you don't have ride-sharing insurance for your car, you need to get it. Because if your insurance company does not cover you when you're driving for Lyft and Uber, you could have got hung out to dry, and so could I. You know, if I had been with my old insurance, which was State Farm does not cover any kind of commercial vehicle. So that's, you know, why I had to get, you know, insurance through Erie. You know, I started looking specifically for companies that have ride-sharing insurance, and this was one of them. And you know, we you know, her mother's a police officer, so she calls her mother, finds out what to do, and you know, she's like, call the police. You know, we call the police, but because this happened on private property, they would not send a patrol officer out to take a report. They told her that she has to go online and you know, file a report online with the police department. So you know, we do everything we need to do. You know, I take a picture of her insurance and her driver's license and her registration, and vice versa. She takes a picture of my insurance and my registration and my driver's license. And you know, then we go, you know, I leave the driveway, making especially careful to properly back out of the driveway and not hit her car a second time. But you know, she was obviously, I didn't get a tip on this ride. Don't expect one at all, but she doesn't appear to have given me a bad rating, because my rating hasn't dropped at all. So I gotta thank her for at least that. But yeah, then after we left, or after I left, and she was also like, you know, I just was apologizing over and over and over. And she was like, you know, look, it's okay, these things happen. You know, I'm gonna go to bed, we'll deal with this tomorrow. So anyway, I pull out of their driveway, and you know, go down the road to the nearest gas station, and pull over. And you know, also the app is also turned off. As soon as this happened, and you know, I was scrunching up her car, you know, I turned my app off so that I don't end up getting another ride request while I'm sitting here dealing with this. So my app's still off as I'm driving off and pull into this gas station, and then I pull out my insurance card and I call my insurance company and let them know what happened. And actually, I just got off the phone with them. I was trying to record this video, and about halfway through it, and the claims adjuster just called me, so I had to start the video over again. And like I said, I'm not gonna, you know, there's no point in spending money to get this fixed. You know, I doubt it'd be even, you know, I doubt it. My deductible's $500, so I doubt it would be, you know, more than that. It's, you know, most likely less, considering what it is. Like I said, it's mostly cosmetic damage, on not just on my car but hers. But you know, I filed a claim, and you know, had her phone number, so I, you know, sent her a text message saying, hey, I just talked to my insurance company, I filed a claim, so they're expecting your call from either you or your insurance company, and here is the claim number for this incident. So you know, that's luckily, like I said, this was nothing major. You know, 3-mile-an-hour accident in a driveway, and it's, you know, just, you know, a couple of scrapes and, you know, 1 or 2 dents between both cars. So, you know, it, you know, wasn't anything that prevented me from, you know, being able to continue driving for the night. And you know, went on, you know, had a pretty good night last night overall. But yeah, that's if you get into an accident, that's you know, kind of the basic thing that you want to do. And it's kind of a good thing that this happened like it did in the driveway, since it was on private property, so I could explain how that worked. Because even the insurance adjuster that I just talked to, I was like, yeah, well, she's like, did you call the police? And I'm like, yes, we called the police. And they told her that because it's on private property, they're not going to send a patrol officer out. You have to go online and do this. You know, if it was an accident in the middle of the street, you know, something a little more, you know, major, then obviously you know, police officer would have come and, you know, done his thing, you know, taking the statements and reports and all that kind of stuff. so you wouldn't have to deal with that part of it. But yeah, that's a really big. I wouldn't call this necessarily I don't know, maybe you could. It's a tip, or definitely not a trick, but more of informative here of what what you need to be doing. If you end up scraping somebody's car, or even get into a more major accident, make sure that you've exchanged your insurance information, and you got your phone numbers, copies of all that. Take pictures of it. Now, to my understanding, also, as another side note on this, because I had already turned the LYFT application, or I'd ended the ride, the application was still on. I was still logged into driver mode, but because I had ended the ride, LYFT's insurance isn't going to cover diddly squat on this. So basically, next time I'm gonna make sure, I'm not gonna turn or drop off the passenger and end the ride until I am out of the driveway. The next time I do pull into someone's driveway, because it was kind of a long driveway. It wasn't the kind of driveway you can just pull up to the end of the driveway and drop them off there. So I pulled up all the way into the driveway so that they didn't have to walk half a mile up the hill to get to their house. But yeah, make sure do all that, follow those basic guidelines if this happens to you. And like I said, mostly no one was hurt, so everyone is okay. Both cars are okay. They're both easily drivable. There was a little bit of like paint transfer, which her car was red and mine was gray, and it left white marks on both cars. So that kind of baffles me how you get white marks. But actually, we took a rag and some water, that I keep here in the back, and was able to kind of scrub both those white marks off. So it's just the actual scratches on the paint and dents now. But yeah, that's basically my advice here for today. Another thing, like I said, I'd already turned the app off, so LYFT's insurance is not. This was the point I was about to make a second ago. I had already turned the app off, so LYFT's insurance is no longer covering us. So, basically, the way I understand it is, because LYFT isn't no longer covering that, if you're don't have a passenger or an active fare in the car, and you get into an accident or something, unless it's a major accident, I don't believe you have to report that to LYFT. I mean, if it goes on your driving record, of course they're going to find out eventually. But their insurance isn't covering it. It wasn't major, so I don't believe I have to call LYFT and say, hey, this happened. But don't take my word for that. Definitely, you may want to send an email to LYFT or Uber and kind of describe this specific situation to them, and see what they say, just to be sure. I'm actually as soon as I get home here, I'm probably going to send an email to LYFT and kind of ask them in a general way, what happens if something like this happens and don't have an active fare in the car, and I don't have a passenger, and I'm just driving around basically on my own, essentially on my own time, in which the only insurance that's covering me is my own insurance. So definitely do all that, and double check with your insurance company and make sure that they will cover you if something happens to you, like this. Because like I said, if I'd still been with State Farm, State Farm would be, nope, we don't cover commercial vehicles, we don't cover ride sharing. Whatever damages that you did to her car, they're coming out of your pocket, and that's not what we want. That's why we pay these crazy prices for insurance in the first place is to cover you against this stuff, so that you're not paying for it out of pocket. You know, especially if you T-bone somebody's car and total it. You know, if that were to happen and you don't have ride-sharing insurance coverage, you're really screwed, because now you're on the hook to buy them a new car, basically. You know, and if you don't have the money to do that, well, basically, you're going to be up shit creek without a paddle. So, double check with all that. Again, that's my tip for today. My advice for today, if that's what you want to call it. So, do all that, check that. I will catch you again next time in the Nashville Lift Zone. So, everybody have a great day out there, and I'll see you soon.